In the baking disaster, Sophie always loved baking, so when her best friend Lucy's birthday came around, she decided to bake a special cake. She searched through her recipe book and finally chose a chocolate cake with a rice creamy filling. Confident in her skill, she gathered all the ingredients and set to work. At first, everything went smoothly. Sophie measured the flour, sugar, and cocoa powder perfectly, and she mixed the batter until it was smooth and silky. She preheated the oven and poured the batter into the cake pans. Filling satisfied, she placed the pan into the oven and set the timer. While the cake baked, Sophie began prepare the filling. She melted chocolate and butter in a saucepan, stirring constantly to make sure it didn't burn. As the filling thickened, she tasted it and smiled. It was delicious, just as the had imagined. However, when the timer rang and then began to go wrong, Sophie opened the oven and noticed that the cake hadn't risen properly. It looked flat and uneven, not like the picture in her recipe book. She took the cake out and realized that she had forgotten and add baking powder. Frustrated, she sighed but decided to continue. After the cake cooled, she spread and filling between the layer and covered and whole cake with a small layer of frosting. Despite its flat absurd, it still looked decent. She cleaned and kitchen and prepared to take the cake to Lucy's party. At the party, Sophie was nervous as Lucy got into the cake. When everyone took a bit, they paused for a moment. The cake was dense and dry, not at all what Sophie had hoped for. Lucy, always the king friend, smiled and said it tasted good. But Sophie knew it wasn't her best work. Afterward, Sophie laughed about the baking disaster with Lucy. Took the cake hadn't turned out as planned, it became a funny story that they will remember for years.